Medicare versus Medicaid. What's the difference and which do you qualify for? This video actually comes from a comment left by one of our viewers, Ken, who asked Medicare versus Medicaid. So we figured we'd make a video about it. And this question comes up all the time and the two often get confused for one another because their names sound almost identical, but they are two different programs. And before we get too far into it, just know that there is a great story behind this shirt and hopefully the hot pink doesn't cause you to leave. Moving on, let's talk about what is Medicare. Medicare is a federal insurance program, which means that original Medicare is basically the same everywhere in the United States. It is run and administered by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS. Now that name doesn't really help us as we're trying to differentiate between the two programs, but just know that CMS is an agency of the federal government. Medicare primarily serves people who are 65 or older, no matter what their income is. It also serves people who are younger than 65 who may be disabled, diagnosed with End Stage Renal Disease, ESRD, or kidney failure and are on dialysis, or those who are diagnosed with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. Medicare bills are paid from trust funds, which those covered by Medicare have paid into throughout their life. Medicare beneficiaries pay part of their health care costs in the form of deductibles and co-pays and coinsurance for hospital visits and other medical care. Monthly premiums are required for non-hospital coverage in the form of Part B premiums. So that wraps up a real quick explanation of what Medicare is. So let's move on to Medicaid. Medicaid is an assistance program for people of any age who have low incomes. Those on Medicaid usually pay no part of the costs for covered medical services, but there may be a small co-payment required. Medicaid does offer benefits not covered by Medicare, like nursing home care and personal care services. Now remember how Medicare was a federal program? Well, Medicaid is a state federal program, which means that it is run and administered by the states under federal guidelines, and it is funded by both the state and the federal government. What this means is that it can vary from state to state in terms of how things are covered and administered. So can you qualify for both? The answer is absolutely, and this is referred to as dual eligibility. So this means that you qualify for both Medicare and Medicaid. If you have Medicare and full Medicaid coverage, this means that most of your healthcare costs are likely covered. You can get your Medicare through Original Medicare or through Medicare Advantage plans, and if you have Medicare and full Medicaid, then you're going to get your prescription drug or Part D coverage through Medicare. And you'll automatically qualify for extra help for your Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage. Medicaid still may cover some other drugs and care not covered by Medicare, but again, that's going to be up to state and local governments. If you have both, just know that Medicare pays first and Medicaid pays second. So it's going to be a primary versus secondary coverage conversation. What this means is that if you go into the doctor or the hospital and you have a bill, that bill is sent to Medicare first, who pays what they cover, and then anything left over will be sent to Medicaid to cover. And Medicaid will always pay secondary. So whether you're covered by Medicare or an employer group plan or a Medicare supplement plan, Medicaid is always going to come second. The easiest way to differentiate between the two is going to be around the income conversation. So remember that Medicare is for the people that we talked about, no matter what their income is, and Medicaid serves people of all ages, and it is for those with low incomes. We hope this was helpful. Our team is made up of a bunch of Medicare nerds, so if you need help with Medicare, including if you're dual eligible for Medicare and Medicaid, we can help you out. If you're only eligible for Medicaid, we're probably not the best resource, and you're going to want to reach out to your state or local Medicaid office. If you do have questions around Medicare, don't hesitate to reach out. The best way is probably through our website, 90daysfromretirement.com, or you can leave a comment here with your questions, and we just might make a video about it like we did this one. As always, we appreciate you, and thank you for watching.